95% of online coaches and creators are not happy running their business, and this could be you for one of three reasons. The first thing is you're not making what you want to be making on a monthly basis. So you could be making below 10K a month, below 30K a month. The second thing is you don't have a leveraged offer which aligns with your personal values outside of your coaching business, right? So, for example, you could be watching this, you're a parent, you've got children, and on a Saturday, you want to be fully present with your family, you want to take your children out, but you're stuck indoors doing one-to-one coaching. So no matter how much money you're making from one-to-one coaching, it doesn't align with your values. The third thing you could be struggling with is not having clear direction or strategy on how to grow your business, right? Because we know as business owners, if your business is not growing every single year, it's actually declining, right? A business which has plateaued is a declining business. So you need to constantly grow your business, but you're stuck. And that's what's stopping you from having a happy business. It's not always just money, it's also values, right? So in today's video, I'll be showing you the one thing which I see coaches always making this mistake and is stopping them from having that type of business which feels like having a one-way ticket to, let's say, the Bahamas, right? A very peaceful place where you're very happy and you're living life, right? And the reason why I'm somewhat of a credible source, you can trust me, is because recently, for one of my clients, an online coach, we had launched him a new offer and we cash collected $51,000 in 7 days. Let me break down the context on why this is crazy for my client and his own life. So prior to that, for 4 or 5 years, before we started working with my client, he was making, take a guess, right? He had one-to-one coaching 3 days back to back every single week and selling a very low ticket course for like $100. Take a guess how much he was making. Now, on a monthly basis, he was making $4,000 to $5,000 a month. And that means his annual income was pretty much 50K. He didn't have any leverage. It was very mentally, physically taxing doing one-to-one coaching. And he had inconsistent income, right? He was working so hard, but working on the wrong things, which is why he was stuck. Until we came in, we launched a new offer, which created his annual salary in just 7 days, right? And that's what we call leverage. So now he has all of that time for him to start a family, to be more present with friends, to do things outside of running a business because he's not wearing all of the hats in his business. So that's what's made him happy, right? So that's why in today's video, I'll be showing you the law of higher ticket coaching. This is completely raw. If I stutter, if I make a few mistakes, I'm just going to keep it in. I've got some notes so I don't waffle too much. Now, let's get into it. So, by the way, if you find this video, subscribe, go on into my Instagram, give me a follow. But anyways, the first thing which lots of coaches are making the problem with is mindset. If you ask yourself right now, the reason why you're selling a lot less than what you actually are worth is because of your mindset, your subconscious reality, right? And I get it because this online space, especially if you're selling something, is very fluffy. Because when a client pays you money, let's say that's $1,000, $5,000, when they pay you that money, you don't actually see the money in real life. This is all digital. It's numbers on a screen. It's not physical, right? Whereas if you go to the supermarket, like if I go to the shop, if I open my fridge and there's no milk and I want to make a smoothie, right? I need to go to the shops and buy some milk. So when I go to the shops and I buy milk, I see that physical money. It's very tangible. You can feel it. And you have that face-to-face interaction with the cashier, right? Which makes things very real. But in the online space, people are buying your low ticket product. You don't even see the money, so it's quite hard for you to understand how much you can charge. And that's just me putting it in another way, right? So try to become more familiar with digital money. It sounds really like dumb, but that's literally it, right? And that's the fact. So, and also another thing is, if you've never sold more like your product or service for higher than what it is right now, it could also be a mindset block because you don't have that proof of concept. You could be thinking, right now I'm charging $150 an hour. But if I start charging $3,000 upfront for a 3-month package, instead of charging an hourly rate, I don't think anyone's going to buy. I don't think my product or service is that valuable. I think I'm going to lose clients, right? You've got all of these mental objections in your head, which is very fair. I understand. But if you don't do it, when are you going to do it? In the case of my client, for 4 or 5 years, he was doing the same thing again and again, didn't work out until something had to change. right? And you could be asking, well, if I raise my prices, I need to make it more valuable. I agree, right? But what I don't agree with, from what I've seen the past few years working in this space, the info space, is sometimes increased value doesn't come from increasing things inside your offer. So if you're selling a course, it doesn't mean having more modules or having more videos. If you're doing one-to-one coaching, you want to raise the prices, it doesn't mean offering an additional touch point. So maybe instead of a bi-weekly Zoom call, you do a weekly Zoom call, right? Sometimes you don't have to increase anything. Some cases you do, but in majority of cases, if you're so confident teaching because you've got so many case studies or testimonials, or even if you don't have anything, you are your biggest case study and testimonial. If you have that proof of teaching whatever you're teaching, that in itself is valuable. Sometimes like I've spent over $25,000 on coaching myself online, right? So I know how it feels. There's been times I've paid for these, different programs or different things to the point where whatever price they would have told me, I would have paid. I didn't really care. Because the value, it's in the transformation people get in the end result. So if you help someone go from point A to point B with whatever it is you're doing, honestly, whatever it is you're doing from point A to point B, if that value is there, they are wanting and needing that transformation, raising your price will not hurt you. If anything, it could bring you the right clients and customers, right? Because the more they pay, the more committed they are, which actually makes coaching fun for you. You don't want to be coaching someone who, it depends on what you do, but you want to be coaching someone who you feel like is actually receiving value and getting help from what you're doing, right? So that's the key thing. So the first one is mindset. Just understand that you are very valuable, right? If you raise your prices, you will be attracting better clients and it's going to give you that one-way ticket to the Bahamas, right? So just know that it's just a mindset subconscious problem. And should I dig deep into this? Let me go slightly deeper into the mindset, because if you know the difference between your subconscious and conscious reality, the subconscious mind is programmed already. So however old you are, let's say you're, 30 years old, 40, 50, 20 years old, right? Now, let's say you're 30 years old. Just use this as a reference. You're not just 30 years old. You're also carrying 30 years of life. Your experiences, good or bad, the values you've had over the years, the people you've grown up around, your family, your friends, the area, the town, the city, the country you've grown up in, the different environments you've been exposed to, all of these things from a very young age, from the day you were born, has been programmed into your subconscious. So, for example, if you were born in a poor family, it could be subjective what people mean by that, but let's say a poor family who didn't have much money, subconsciously, you believe that you can never make money, right? So when you come to being 30 years old and you're stood in front of the mirror repeating affirmations like, I'm going to be rich one day, I will be rich, however as you say, the reason there's a block and your body doesn't actually get the results is because your subconscious mind needs to be reprogrammed, right? You cannot actually make it happen until you change your subconscious mind. So in your case, your subconscious mind is, maybe you've grown up in a family where, $3,000 is a lot of money. So how am I going to charge that for one-to-one coaching? Or, you've always been charging an hourly rate or a very low ticket course. That's been happening again and again and again and again. Your neural pathways have been connected to think you should be charging that. Anything which is not this is uncomfortable. It feels uncomfortable. So that's why you don't raise the prices. You're scared of what's going to happen. You need to reprogram your subconscious. How? Just do it. You're one step away. And for lots of coaches, or for some, again, anyone could be watching this video, some of you can actually, obviously everything I say, take it with a pinch of salt. It doesn't apply to 100% of people. There's some people who cannot do this because your offer right now is not valuable enough. Like, if people are churning, if you're losing clients and customers, then your offer's not good, forget about raising the prices, right? But if your offer's really good, you've got clients always staying with you, you've got lots of different clients coming every single month, you need to raise the barrier to entry, or the entry to barrier. keep getting this confused. Okay, so that's the first thing, mindset. The second thing is create a higher ticket product or service. Just adding on to the previous point, because I've never seen any online coach in this space who is making how much they want to be making, or something that aligns with their values and personal life. I've not seen one of those coaches charging low ticket. None. And if they are charging low ticket, it's because on the back end they have a higher ticket offer. The low ticket is just to get a lot of people in, and then as in the back end they've got a higher ticket offer. So what am I doing? But like less people get in on the back end. They charge like $50 up front. Sorry, they charge $50 up front, and then very few people pay $5,000 on the back end. That's how they've run their strategy. But I've not seen one coach who is not running a high ticket offer, and that's anywhere above $500, mid and high ticket. Anything below $500, you need to increase, right? And once you have figured out that product or service that you can charge for $500 or above, even multiple thousands repeatedly, you have the offer in place, which the market wants. The second thing you need to figure out to have that consistent income, how can I create a traffic system? Let me cough, sorry, one sec. Okay, forget it. Don't know how to mute this. Using this old mic from a long time ago. Anyways, so you need to now figure out how to create strong traffic, right? That could be organically, that could be through paid ads, but some sort of traffic engine which brings you the right people who are qualified enough for your specific offers repeatedly every single month. So when you have lots of viewers, you can create a system or funnels that turns viewers into leads. And then you need a system, funnels or whatever it is, to turn these leads into clients and customers. In this video, I'm not going to be telling you which system or funnels to run, because everyone would say something different. Something works differently for them. It depends on the niche you're in. But the foundational principle is, once you have that offer, you need a very strong traffic engine from whichever social media platforms you are on, or that you can start opening up. Then you need a system to turn the right viewers into leads. So turn them into their DMs, collect their email, so you can do email marketing, whatever it is. Then turn those leads into clients and customers. And you don't need to have a sales call if you don't want to. You can sell people through their DMs. You can sell people in so many different ways apart from a sales call, or you can have a sales call. So once you fix your mindset, you can raise your prices. Then you figured out your traffic problem, making sure you get a lot of people coming through. So then it plugs into your system. And the third thing you need to focus on, which puts the seal on all of this, which is super important, is mastering fulfillment for your clients, right? Because in terms of the law of attraction, or the law of high ticket coaching, if you raise your prices for up to $3,000, $5,000, you get new clients on it. It's like, whoa, like the first time you do it, it's crazy. The proof of concept you get, I can do this again and again. If you do something once, you can do it 100 times, right? But then what's even better, you sign these clients and you give them the best possible service that they've ever received. And they get to the end result a lot quicker. They're a lot more confident, and they probably will sign up with you again, right, on the same offer. But then you can use their testimonial to get more clients. And that's how you grow a coaching business. It's not complicated. It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not complicated. That's exactly what you need. And once you have mastered fulfillment, one thing I want to talk about very specifically, I don't want to make this video too long, we're like 40 minutes in, but one thing is, when people sign up for coaching programs, especially in 2025 and the years to come, they want access to you as the coach. What a lot of coaching programs do is they remove themselves from direct access to the clients or customers. In some cases, what some coaches do is they have even like a 45-minute call with their students every month. Some cases that's fine, but some coaches completely disappear and they have head coaches. Don't do that. The students have paid because they want access to you. So there's a balance, right? How many clients you sign on one-to-one or group coaching, or even if you bundle that with a course, so that it's a really strong offer. Balancing it with how much access they get to you, right? So again, it's what aligns with your values. If you don't want to be on calls more than 3 days a week because you want to live a life outside of coaching, then don't. But just make it clear in the offer, right? But once you've mastered fulfillment, this is just a positive feedback, which gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So, trying to think, what else did I want to say? Bit of a my mind's gone blank, but I had something to say. It'll come to me. So that's how you can really get out of the trenches of doing non-stop one-to-one coaching, because it's not scalable. Wearing all of the hats in your business, being the marketer, the content creator, the actual coach, the editor in a lot of cases, and just everything. And start focusing on what actually moves the needle in your business. Because if you have a very lean, which means just a very small and highly profitable team, right? If you have a very lean team which takes care of everything outside of what you should be doing, your business will be booming, right? And you can create such a personal brand that no one wants to go to any other type of coach. They want to stick with you. Let me give you an example. Fitness coaching is a very saturated market, or relationship coaching, a very saturated market, right? There's so many different types of coaches, but people resonate with you as a person and your values and your beliefs and the way you come across in your content, whether that's Instagram, short form, or YouTube, long form. If they resonate, they don't care how low of a price your competitors are charging. They're going to come to you. And no matter what price you tell them, they're going to pay because they want you, right? So the only two things you should really be focusing on as the coach, from what I've seen the past few years that works really well, is creating content and coaching your clients. So do what you're good at. Keep creating content, right? The reason you have so much traffic is because you're really good at creating content. Do whatever it is that you're really good at. Keep creating content, but you need a team. You can convert those viewers into leads and clients and customers in pretty much an automated process without needing you much in the process, right? And that's really how to grow. So that's another thing. To give a really quick summary of the law of high ticket coaching so that you can really run a happy business, whether that's living more life outside of your coaching business, making more money with it, let's say above 10K a month to 50K, even 100K a month in profit, or having a very clear strategy and direction and having something that sticks. You need to change your mindset, your subconscious reality, raise your prices. The second thing, create a leveraged product or service that your audience deeply wants. The third thing is master your fulfillment. And the fourth thing, just focus on the things which actually move the needle forward in your business. Creating content, coaching your clients. Everything else, don't. No point. You'll keep being stuck. And this is the perfect time, despite in 2025, trust being at an all-time low. People are thinking, which coach should I trust? Who should I sign up to? If you master these principles with the right system and strategy, then you will not have this problem. Like even the other day, right? I'll give you a personal example. I went on YouTube, right? And I was searching up functional fitness. And my whole thesis or my agenda was, I'm going to go onto YouTube, going to find some videos which really resonates with me, and I'm going to buy someone's coaching. Functional fitness, for those that don't know what that is basically a balance between weightlifting and endurance-based sports. And me, I personally love playing a lot of football. I'm always running, or even running on a treadmill, running outside. I love running. But then I also like weightlifting at times. So I wanted to do a sport which balances the two. So I don't look too big. I don't want to be one of those people, to be honest. And, I don't want to be skinny, right? I'm somewhat in the middle with a bit more muscle. So I wanted to hire someone who can hold me accountable. I can sign up to the coaching. Boom. I get my results very quickly in 3 months instead of having to spend 2 years trying to figure it out by myself. Now, when I was on YouTube, on the same title video I wrote, so many videos came up from so many different people saying so many different things. I didn't know who to trust, right? And that's why personal branding is super important, right? And you now know what to do. So if you're wondering if you'd be a right fit for my service and my team, just to give a quick background, Also, my name is Ramez, and we work with content creators and coaches who are ready to scale. And what we do is we build, we launch, and we scale your info offer. And it's really dependent from client to client, to be honest. It could be scaling you past 20,000 a month, could be past $150,000 a month in profit. It really depends on where you are, which niche you're in, and how much capacity you have for clients and how your foundation looks. And we do this by something what I call the info lottery blueprint. It's just the name I've given our strategy. It's what works a lot. And this way you can focus on your values outside of running your coaching business, whilst we run it for you as well. So if that resonates with you, then go to my Instagram, give me a DM, give me a message on your situation, and we'll go from there. So click the link in my description to find my Instagram, subscribe if this resonates. And yeah, which video do you guys want to see next? Give me a little comment. I'll be making a lot more of this. So yeah, thank you for listening and have an amazing day.